Good evening and welcome to Greater Somerville for June 4th, 2013. I'm Cayenne Anderson. Tonight's topic, Backyard Havens in Somerville, a self-guided garden tour where you'll find the finest backyards that Somerville has to offer. Our guests tonight are no strangers to getting their hands dirty. As active members of the Somerville Gardening Club, they not only help to beautify many of the public spaces that you and I enjoy, they have pretty impressive gardens of their own. And they're here tonight to tell us why you need to go green on June 9th and make sure you buy your ticket for this weekend's upcoming garden tour that we'll be talking about later in the program. Whether you're a green thumb, a flower enthusiast, or simply like to browse people's backyards, I'm sure this event is one that you do not want to miss. So please join me in welcoming, for their debut appearance here on Greater Somerville, Lori, Fitz, and Rita Edmunds to the show. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Full disclosure, this is actually a pre-recorded show. The reason I say that is only because we will often have callers call in, and we don't have that option. So I did say it was June 4th, but it's actually June 3rd. So, but that's because there's a big important meeting for the Green Line tomorrow, and Joe and I are both attending that. So anyway, we're going to just talk a little bit about you ladies and find out a little bit about your backgrounds, because I always love to find out about people on the show, what makes them do what they do. And then we'll get into the good stuff, the green stuff. And we were provided some beautiful greenery here to make the space a little bit more garden friendly, since that's technically our topic, although it is quite hot in here. So it's definitely like a garden outside. So Lori, you're a biomedical research, you've been in the biomedical research field for over 25 years, is that right?
That's right, I have. I've worked in the Cambridge area the whole time.
And you work at Pfizer?
I currently work at Pfizer, yes.
And tell me a little bit about what you do. You're developing exploratory biomarkers that are used to increase the success rates of new drug development for diseases.
That's right. So biomarkers are becoming increasingly important to help monitor new drug development. An example of a biomarker is cholesterol for heart disease.
Okay.
So when you go get your cholesterol checked, you want to make sure it's low. For autoimmune diseases, we don't really have those kinds of readily biomarkers that the physician can use.
Okay.
So I'm developing those types of markers.
And you've lived in Somerville for 13 years.
Yes.
So she's officially a Somervillian.
Yes.
And whereabouts in Somerville do you live?
I live in West Somerville near the Tufts University.
Oh, that's a beautiful area.
Yes.
Okay, so now, it says here in her little bio that she started a garden with a 3-year plan. And now it's turned into 5 years, and you've made it into a peaceful and colorful refuge.
That's right. When I first moved in, when I first moved in, the lot had been neglected for years. And it was just a really hard soil.
Yeah.
And lots of stumps from old bushes everywhere. Rita's nodding. A lot of people in Somerville who have gardened have faced the same problem.
Okay.
So the first entire year was just removing all of the old stumps.
Yeah, that's a workout.
Yes.
I just did that this weekend, actually, and I'm very tired and sore.
Exactly.
So it says that one of your notable features of Lori's garden is the grove of bamboo.
Yeah.
And now I've been told that bamboo is invasive. Well, it is invasive. So tell me a little bit about that. Like, what do you do to kind of keep it tip-top, behaving itself?
That's a really good point. No one should plant bamboo without really understanding the plant.
Okay.
I did plant a running bamboo, which is the invasive kind, but we dug a trench that was 3 feet deep and put a very hard plastic barrier all around it so that the rhizomes of the bamboo would not escape.
It doesn't escape in plastic. Like
Does not escape at all. So it's a 1/4 inch plastic, hard plastic.
Okay.
So that's what you want to do. But what's happened then is the bamboo has filled in along the side of the house, and it provides a really nice screen for the windows on that side.
Okay, now wait, I realize that we've got some nice little images of your garden. It should be noted that this garden tour that's coming up on the 9th, it is all the Somerville garden girls, and men, I should say, as well. They will be having their gardens on display. So this is your garden, so maybe if we press the PC8, we're going to show a little bit. Okay, now this is your garden.
Yes, this is
the front part.
This is a picture of my side garden.
Okay.
With the fence in the background.
Yeah.
And you can see some of the right in the middle is a plant called Jupiter's beard.
Okay.
Or Centhranus.
Yeah.
Which is very colorful.
Yeah.
And it's a very nice little border garden.
Okay. Beautiful. And now, where's the bamboo? Is the bamboo in the next? We advance the slide.
The bamboo. I'm not sure if you have a picture of it.
I'm sorry, folks. I didn't have a picture of the bamboo. Why don't we go to this next one? This is beautiful.
This is a clematis vine.
Okay.
Growing up the side of a.
I have one of those on my house.
Yeah, and I bet most people
choice.
have these kinds of block garages too. So I put the trellises up.
You know what? That's a great way to hide that garage. Not to say that garage is ugly, but like a lot of the garages in my neighborhood that look like, cement, they're falling down. That's a good way to hide them. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, and it was a way to bring a vertical element into the garden as
Beautiful.
well.
Oh, now this is great. Tell me a little about this.
So I really like this picture because what I was going for here are the layers.
Mm-hmm.
So starting with the white euphorbia, which is an annual in the corner, followed by another annual, heliotrope, which then complemented the rudbeckia, the yellow rudbeckia, and the red cardinal flower.
This is great.
So I just really like the layering there. And you can see in the background some Joe Pye weed against the reed fence.
Look at that. Okay, fantastic. Now, as the next one, we have one more to show you here. This is a close-up.
This is a close-up of the Joe Pye weed. It's really
Beautiful.
a favorite.
Okay. All right, now we're going to switch back, if you can just press the camera. So that's your garden.
Yes.
And now we're going to talk a little bit to you. Now, these are all available. You're on the tour.
I'm on the tour.
Yes,
in
okay.
West Somerville.
Fantastic. We'll talk about that in a second. Rita, you worked as a librarian for many years in Boston and in Latin America, which is very interesting. Where in Latin America?
The Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, and Costa Rica.
And more recently, your MBA admissions at Babson College and MIT Sloan.
Yes.
And you have lived in Somerville for 32 years.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Which is impressive. Your garden, and I understand that you're a botanical illustrator as well.
Yes.
So you have a love of plants and you draw them.
I went from the love of gardening to the love of photography, photographing my flowers, to actually deciding that I might be able to draw and paint them. Really? And I've become really interested in doing that, and drawing and painting not only the plants in my garden, but in other gardens as well.
You draw and paint them. What do you use, watercolor?
Watercolor. Wow. But I also do pen and
Now,
ink.
how come we did? There's someone that standing on the sidelines here who I'm not going to name, but I'm curious as why we should. I wish I would have hunted down. I'm usually pretty good about doing the research here, and I should have hunted down some of your imagery because I think that's very impressive. You've tied that into the. I love watercolor anyway. Okay, so back to your garden because you're on the tour.
Yes, I am.
And you've had 11 or 12 trees, including several apple trees. Now, they were in your backyard?
That's correct, yes.
Wow.
We had about 5 or 6 apple trees originally.
Okay.
And one by one, they must have been about 50 years old. One by one, they died.
Okay, so now we're going to switch over, if you don't mind switching over, we're going to show a little bit. Now this is, because it says that your garden is basically a shade garden with increasing areas of sun where old trees have been removed or fallen down, unfortunately, in hurricanes. So it's little by little, you're getting a little more sunshine. But now tell me about this. What's this? Is this your front yard?
This is the front yard that I started about maybe 5 or 6 years ago, which had been just hard-packed earth. And I decided, finally, after I'd really done a lot in the backyard, that I would begin to work on the front yard.
Time to go in the front yard, okay. Yeah. And over time, you've built 4 brick patios, a series of stone paths, and raised beds.
That's correct. I found that I really liked, also when I had the energy, to do brickwork, stonework, and the raised beds. Which are just landscape timbers.
Before they got trendy, everybody's doing them. I'm just kidding, not trendy. I'm glad they're getting. It's a good trend, but everyone's getting them. Yeah. I'm going to get one soon too. Yeah. So now, okay, so you've put in a lot of effort here. That's a really gorgeous backyard. Is this your new? This is
the new garden.
This is new. Okay.
Yeah. A pine tree came down in the hurricane last fall.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
And it just left a huge gap.
Didn't hit your house, right?
It did not, luckily.
Oh God.
But it was a very tall one. So we lost a lot of. We gained a lot of space.
Okay.
And speaking of bamboo, I also put. I don't think it's in the
wow,
there.
You ladies are going against the grain.
But I use the smaller, non-invasive kind.
Okay.
But it creates a nice.
Living on the edge in the garden club.
A nice edge to the garden.
No, that's
But it was
great.
exciting to build one from scratch.
So now here's a question. In your new garden, you have this like big open space from this tree that fell down. Are all your plants freaking out because they have all the sunshine? I mean, are you going to have to kind of change it up?
I think it will be a process of seeing how things work out for the next couple of years. Yes.
Okay, very interesting. Now I think that's the last one. We can switch back to camera if you don't mind. Okay, so that is just a appetizer, if you will, of the gardens that are going to be in this Sunday's garden tour. And it should be noted that the Somerville Garden Club does not do this every year. This is a exceptionally, unique event that happened, 2008, 2010, now 2013, so, every 3 years, so it's a big deal. And I want to understand that there's about 20 gardens that are in the tour, correct?
That's correct.
That's right. This year it's the gardens of the Somerville Garden Club members.
Oh, it's pressure, high pressure, isn't it?
It's high pressure. In the past, it's been
if you're like in the club, you don't
in the
have
past
to be
we've
good.
had other themes.
Okay.
But there's pressure, but at the same time, we all do it because we really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So the pressure's not really
I'm just
too
kidding.
intense.
I just like competition. Competition. No, I'm just kidding. So tell me a little bit about the garden club. I understand there's about 200 plus members, or maybe it's grown, or
Rita is our membership chair.
Oh, membership chair.
It has stayed about 200 for the last few years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now, what are some things you do? I'm gonna have you switch back over to the images there. This is one of your. This is a very important event. Some of the things that you do. You have monthly meetings, and then you also have. This is the plant sale. Is that correct?
That's correct. The plant sale is every September, and it's something that it seems that people in Somerville really look forward to. They hear about it, they want to know what weekend it's going to be, and it takes place right in Davis Square. We take up the whole square.
Yeah.
It's very, very popular.
Last year we had over 1,000 plants that sold.
Wow. And it's all day, and it's people that kind of come, and can you contribute to the plant sale? Like if you have things or seedlings that you want to contribute,
All of the plants are contributed by
by
members.
members?
Yes.
But what
Yes.
about people that aren't members that just want to donate? Can you do that?
They could. We have a few nurseries that have contributed in the past.
Okay.
Pemberton Gardens has contributed, and
Really?
Blanchette's Gardens.
Okay, so now let's go to the next slide here and just see. I just like this picture. Look at all you guys.
There we are.
This was after the plant sale. Okay, so tell me a little bit about your membership. You have switch back to the camera if you don't mind. Perfect. So every month you have a meeting. Tell me when your meetings are.
They're the second Wednesday of every month.
Second Wednesday, and now where are they held?
At the Tab Building.
And now that it's newly renovated, or kind of newly renovated.
Yeah, somewhat newly renovated.
Okay.
We meet at 7 o'clock and it goes until 9 o'clock.
Okay.
And you want me to tell you about meetings include?
Well, you can just talk a little, just give me a little, because we want to get
Great
into
programs, wonderful programs.
People kind of come with not problems, but
Yes,
I have an issue.
yes.
Has anyone had this problem before?
Yeah.
What do you think? It's kind of like a help, not a help group.
It's
but
called a
I
round
mean,
table. We all talk about our problems and get answers from friends, from master gardeners.
Which is fantastic, because it's like, okay, so what is it coming? So you need to, if you want to fill out.
And just to
Somerville,
note, you
this
don't
is-
have to be a member to come to our club meetings.
Yeah, you don't have to be a member.
You don't?
Nope,
No.
it's open to the public.
But then if you want to become a member, what does that entail? You have to fill
Yep.
this beautiful little pamphlet out.
Right.
It tells when the meetings are. It's $25 a year for dues, which I think is
Yeah.
very reasonable considering how much advice you get collectively.
Yeah.
And let's just note that it doesn't have to just be Somervillians. It can be Cambridge people. We could bring them in. Medford,
We have
right?
several people from Cambridge.
But I think
Yep.
it's good because
Medford.
it's a very good community building exercise. And I think that one of the things that I love about Somerville is that, there's all these opportunities to meet other people. And this is your non-judgmental club. Everybody can join the club. And then I've got this as well, which I think is very interesting. You have a newsletter.
Yes.
Here you go. I know you can't read it, but it's this nicely illustrated newsletter. And that comes out every month. Is that true?
Yes, it does.
Wow.
And inside is a list of things to do in the garden every month, made
Wow.
up by Lucy Borodkin.
And now, is that seasonal? This information is like, okay, right now,
Yeah.
these things
Yes.
are in bloom.
For the month of June,
These are, so
she's
you
got the
plan
list.
ahead.
Yep.
So you need a
Yeah.
little bit of a, this is very motivating. It's got the president, Dorothy Gilman's the president, fantastic, and it's got everybody in there. So that's a wonderful little, I would think that you've been a member for a number of years, correct?
About
Both
5.
of you? Okay.
Yeah.
And I suppose you guys do a lot of it, but what other types of events do you do? I do know that you beautify a lot of the spaces in Somerville. You kind of help and volunteer your time, which I thank you for. What are some of the main
We do.
spaces that are your
We
responsibility?
do. Some of our main spaces are the West Branch Library, as well
Beautiful.
as the main branch.
Mm-hmm.
And we donate plants out of the, so for the garden tour is a fundraiser, as well as the plant sale. And part of those funds go to educational purposes, but also part of them go to plants that we donate for the West Branch Library, the Powder House Rotary, and the main branch library, as well as the Somerville Museum.
So now, are you connected at all to the Bulb Fest? You know that bulb burst, or what is it called? in
Yeah, the
Somerville?
bulb blitz.
The bulb blitz.
Yeah, that's a separate
Okay.
effort.
Okay, separate.
Equally has been equally nice.
Because I think they planned that, every single year, and that's why I was like, that's got to be an
We-
expensive little thing.
We actually work in some of the gardens every 2 weeks, weeding and pruning plants and things like that throughout the whole season.
Well, here's an interesting topic, and then we'll talk about the tour. Is that, there's obviously, like I was joking about the trendiness of the raised beds, but I do think, things are going that way. We've got an urban agriculture ordinance just passed, which is fantastic. Do you guys have, do you kind of cross-pollinate, if you will, with some of those other groups? Because there are a lot of very active people in Somerville, whether it be, growing plants or flowers or food, or how do you work with them?
It is. We don't have any joint programs as yet, but we interact with others in that we all have our special niches. The Somerville Garden Club is really focused on promoting members' own gardens as well as the sites around town, and we'll notify each other on the events. So we help publicize each other's events.
Okay.
But our members are also members of different organizations around the city, like Groundworks and Depaving in Somerville. So we
Lenny Armstrong,
right, so
on the show.
So that gets put into one of our emails that goes out to everybody. Come on over, join us in Depaving.
Great.
And so some of us will volunteer for that.
So now here's a question, just because I'm being selfish here because I just planted my garden last weekend and it was
great.
in the heat. Yeah, it was awful.
Yes.
But it looks great. But what I will say is, what are some tips for like June? You always say, okay, you can't plant now that it's warm. Can you not plant? Is the season done? Do you? And here's another question too. I planted some succulents, because I just get such an amazing amount of heat and sunshine in my front garden.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. So the question that I have is, that whole, I always feel environmentally there's a lot of things about like how much water do you waste with your garden, and do you ever get people that say anything to you? And I'm not like putting you on the spot here because I didn't put this in the questions, but that's one of the reasons why I did do the succulents was to try and cut down on the amount of water consumption.
Yeah, to be honest, I think an advantage of the small gardens is you're really not using a lot of water. And if you can also have the option to choose plants like you have that don't need a lot of water. And there's a lot of plants that really don't need a lot of water once they're established. So you might say, yes, you'll use more water the first 2 years as they're getting established.
So it takes about 2 years to get them established?
Yeah, on average.
Okay.
And then after that, like perennial grasses are great for low use of water.
Is there a way to just, in terms of the mulch, obviously that keeps the moisture in. Organic versus, I'm a big organic fan, but is there, you've got black mulch, which I like the look of it better than the electric orange.
Yeah.
It's just me. But does that attract more heat? That sounds really like.
I hadn't thought about that, but yes,
really,
maybe
right?
it does.
Yeah, right, because the heat
but
is
a lot of the plants sort of like the heat. So I think that
it's actually better for
the net
succulent
average
plants.
is that it's good to mulch to cut down on the evaporation.
How quickly after you plant your garden should you mulch? Am I in trouble? I don't have it mulched yet. It was last weekend.
Anytime you do it is good.
Yeah.
Anytime.
So what do you think of Somerville? Do you think Somerville has a lot of green spaces? Do you think it needs more green? What are your thoughts on it? Do you think it's, are you pushing, does the Somerville Garden Club advocate for, more green spaces or planting opportunity? Like, for example, you've talked about certain areas that you volunteer your time. Is that part of it? Or does the city come to you and say, hey, we have this space, can you help us maintain it? How do you get assigned to these?
It's usually our idea that we like to have a particular site, and we have the members to take care of a certain number of sites. Because it does take quite a lot of work during the season, and the season can be rather long.
Okay,
so I think we don't start a new site until we know that we have a team to work on it.
Okay, so it's a number of individuals that are kind of dedicated.
Yeah, and every one of our sites has come from our members' efforts to beautify a previously neglected spot. Right now the Powder House Rotary looks beautiful.
Oh, I love it.
And there's a number
there all the
of
time.
people who really work there, but when that was started over 15 years ago, it wasn't so nice.
So how many spaces do you think you're maintaining right now, the Somerville Garden Club?
We have 5.
5 spaces?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's another reason why people should do it. So now let's talk about the garden club, because we got about, I would say 8 minutes or so. I definitely want to get into this. So if you've seen this around, now we have an actual image of it on, maybe we can switch over to the, if you switch the computer, So actually, well, these are some images. I'm not sure whose gardens these are, but I just like them, so I put it on there. And these are just some examples of some things you can see this weekend at this Backyard Haven Somerville Garden Club. Just beautiful kind of garden. And now this right here, I would love to be sitting in that backyard because that is very relaxing. And this goes over just a little bit Sunday, June 9th from 11 to 4. And it's rain or shine, so that's important. And basically, you guys are presented by the Somerville Garden Club, and you see there. Well, you see the stick of it. You can actually turn the camera back on if you don't mind. There's a little red rake, and that red rake is going to be similar to the Somerville Open Studios. You've got your orange balloons out in front of the house. These rakes are going to be in front of homes. And that's going to indicate there's a garden there. Now, I should say that the tickets, you need to buy a ticket because what the ticket does, it's $15, which is such a wonderful price. And you can get these all over the place. I'm going to tell you where you can get them. You can find out on our website as well. I'm going to have the information there. But for $15, you get this beautifully illustrated map, which intentionally you can't see because you need to buy the ticket first and support these wonderful people in their efforts because this is a lot of work to put on. And you've got 20 people that are going to be having their gardens open. So this map will tell you exactly where you need to go. You can pick this up for $15, and that is, I want to say, you can pick it up at Pemberton Farms on Mass Ave in Cambridge, Porter Square Books, 25 White Street, which you know, in the Porter Square Shopping Center, True Grounds Cafe in Ball Square. And then the day of the event on June 9th from 10 to 3, you can do it. You can pick up tickets from at Davis Square Statue Park, which is opposite of the MBTA. And they're $15. And you get this wonderful map and find, you can go and look for the red rakes. And
every garden will be unique.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing I'd like to, because I was very like, so are there specific gardens? And I don't want to single anybody out because you guys all have amazing gardens. But I would just say that, could you say that they're spread out in Somerville only? Are there some in Cambridge? Are we going to be crossing the border? Like, what is this?
Yes.
What does this look like?
There is one in Cambridge.
Okay.
There's one in Medford, and the rest are in Somerville. But they are spread out over all of Somerville.
So now, do you think that this is a walkable? You could pretty much walk to all these in the map?
I think you could walk to quite a few in one area,
okay,
and then get on a bus or take a car to another area.
Okay. All right. Or you could bicycle. This is always a hubway. You could get on hubway, which is great. So tell me a little bit more about. So some of these members, now what does it take? Now you're a member to get on this thing, which, clearly you guys are dedicated to gardening. But do you have people what's the longest standing person that's been on this? Do you know? Do you want to call them out?
It might be Lucy, who's a master gardener, and she's been on probably from the very beginning, but I'm not sure.
Okay, and now so you have 20 spots. Now you have to decide early on who gets those spots, right? Or people volunteer?
Yeah, it was a combination of volunteering and maybe encouraging a few people to volunteer who we all like their gardens, but were maybe a bit shy.
Okay.
And the 20 gardens, I think, came around just sort of naturally after that process.
Okay, and then you visited them.
There's a committee. There's a garden tour committee.
Yeah.
The garden tour committee probably had visited many of the gardens anyway, because all during the season we have informal garden tours among the members.
Oh,
and so we go to
another
see.
reason to
Some
become
people,
a member.
I might say, 2 weeks from now, on a Saturday, I'm having my garden open to everybody from 2 to 4. And so over time, we've gotten to see quite a few gardens, so we can encourage people to be on a tour.
But you don't have to. So now, for example, say in a couple of years when you do this again, like I said, it's not every year, so you need to check it out this Sunday. Is that, say, for instance, if I had a garden in 3 years from now? It's 3 years. I'm planting.
We're planting
the seed, if you will, for these ladies. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I mean, like, how do you be like, hi, I'm Cayenne Anderson. There's obviously a process. So do I call up and say, well, I have some beautiful,
Sure.
Yes, you do.
flowers.
Yes, you
Would you like to check it out?
Yeah.
And then you kind of evaluate it. Wow, that's intimidating.
Yeah, I do.
That would be a very intimidating thing. So
no, it's not intimidating.
It's not at all.
No, this is
in fact, the theme of this is the backyard havens.
Yeah.
And it really is all about the individual experience and how we just really, our gardens bring us, you know, our joy and
and they're all
relaxation.
Different. They're very different.
And they're all very different.
And everyone,
it's very casual.
No, I understand. It's very casual, but there will be name tags on the people that own the garden. So when you go into the garden, you can be like, hey, who owns this garden? And then they could be sitting
and the
there.
best thing is just to chat with the gardener
and finding
ask
out.
any question that you want.
So you're going to be not stuck, but you're going to be at your house the entire day. So you know you're not. Well, that's interesting.
Yes, that's
because
true.
You
That's
won't be able
fine.
to.
That's fine.
But you have a lot of people visiting.
Yeah.
The hot spots.
Yeah.
We're looking
and
forward to it.
gardeners are very interesting to talk to, and other gardeners will come through. I'm looking forward to that.
Feel very detail oriented.
They can be.
It's all over.
You know, it's really interesting. So I have, like I said, I just planted this garden this weekend, and it was so hot. But I planted it, and I've never really been into gardening, but I finally have gotten to the point where my house is renovated enough where I can, you know, plant my garden. And it was so peaceful. Even in the rain, I was out there, and I just felt like, I mean, very excited. I hope these plants take, because someday soon I will be too on this map. Mark my words, people. I will be on this map. No, but in all seriousness, I really do encourage all of you out there to go out, check out the garden tour, Backyard Havens of Somerville Garden Club, self-guided tour from 11 to 4, June 9th, rain or shine. Look for the bright red rakes, but you do need to buy the $15 ticket, a small price to pay to support this wonderful organization. Now give me a quick closing statement. I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but like what is it about the Somerville Garden Club that kind of keeps you coming back every year? Why do you enjoy it so much?
I've met such wonderful people, and before I joined the club and I was working out of the city, I probably didn't know that many people in Somerville. So I've really gotten to know the community better by being in the club.
Okay.
And I enjoy it.
How about you?
That's me too, the connectedness to other people in Somerville. And not only through gardening, which we do a lot of, and we take some field trips, but people are involved in other organizations around Somerville too, and so I like that crossover.
Well, that is one wonderful way to end the show. I'd like to thank our guests, Lori Fitz and Rita Edmunds, for stopping by Greater Somerville tonight to tell us about the upcoming garden tour, Backyard Havens of the Somerville Garden Club, a self-guided tour coming up this Sunday, June 9th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., and that's rain or shine. So please make sure you visit any one of the local establishments mentioned in tonight's program. It'll be on our website to pick up your $15 ticket today. And really, what a wonderful way to spend a Sunday afternoon. And I'd really like to thank you ladies, because it takes a lot of effort to put this on, and I think you're doing a wonderful job, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm going, so I hope you will go as well. That does it for us tonight here on Greater Somerville. To the viewers at home, thank you for watching. Stay safe and stay informed. Good night, everyone.